Hello, this is National Chess Master R. Rats here to continue my video blog on the match between the Army of Brotherhood and my free video lessons group. And the Army is now leading 17.5 to 8.5. So we still have a lot of quick results coming in from a number of players that like to play quick. And but there's still the majority of the games they're going very slow. I mean, I'm just pointing this arrow here. We can see these people have barely started. You'll find a few here and there that are progressing along. There's one a little further, but just a random sample here. This one's in the middle game. But for the most part, the games are going very quietly, and hopefully true skill will decide rather than impulsive moves. Here's a result here on board 14 that wasn't there before. It looks like both sides have won a game. So let's bring these up and start here. Okay. All right. And bring it back to the beginning. The result is draw by agreement. So we have two draws. So they didn't both win a game. Let's just have a run through. Alban counter gambit. I've seen that once before. Normally it should be G3. No, we see A3. That was what was played in the other game. I think G3 is a better move. A3's book, but G3 helps development. Now you need to guard the C pawn. Now here black is black is attempting to try to corral that pawn on E5. The ideal would be knight G6 and take it. So white thrusts his pawns forward on the queen side. I don't know when this leaves book. Now there's a counterattack on the D pawn, so that black will or white will try to win that pawn back. Let's see how it works. Now he begins the fianchetto, and black's not taking. And I suspect this is probably still theory. And black often castles queenside in this opening, and now black takes the pawn, and black has regained his pawn. Got a little bit of pressure, so maybe black's a little better here. White does have a nice long diagonal for his light squared bishop. Black attempts to liquidate that asset of white's. Now this is interesting. I guess can't black force double pawns in the white position here with knight takes? It seems to be better for black. Now black's got a protected pass pawn. Okay, so for what it's worth, there goes. It might have been premature to advance that, but then again, it does open up a diagonal for this bishop on C5. You can see these. This is one of the. These are two of the higher rated players, so the skill level is better. And if they are taking any amount of time, I'm sure taking much more time than I am. They're finding better moves. Now this seems a little loosening. Yet again, how does black make progress? Well, you just got to throw everything, all those pawns against the white position. And it looks like the white pawn storm on the queen side has kind of run out of gas. A4, A5, A6. So now white's tied black down to defending that pawn. And here comes the pawn storm. Ah, there's the trick. Willing to give up the rook or two rooks for the queen. And black obliges. Now, black's got to be better as a result of this. That's why I didn't really mention this possibility. Two rooks are better than a queen. White has a pawn for it, but it's a double pawn. Okay, so let's see. The game's going to be agreed to a draw here in a couple of moves. And it was agreed to a draw here. Is it a draw? Well, it could end in a draw. As long as black keeps his rooks doubled, how can white make progress? The pawn on h5 is secure. The double pawns here are more or less useless. Yeah, I'd say a draw is a fair result. So neither side seemed to commit any kind of a major error here. It was possibly a little bit in black's favor earlier when white played knight f3, but black didn't find a plan. Let's look at the other draw. Let's get back to the game. Where is it? We got to scroll down. Or is it going to bounce down for us? Nope. There it goes. Too far. Let's go up. And here it is. Okay. Oh, it's doing the auto thing. I don't want that. Okay, whoops. Let's go back. Okay. Now here we have an Alban counter gambit reversed. The difference being white has developed his bishop to f4. I'll be darned. What do they think of next, huh? Okay, does that make a difference? Here, white playing the black side, try something a little bit different. So if knight takes d5, that wins black a second pawn, but the price is some development. I don't know, does this move any good? I'm thinking if rook d8, you can escape with knight. No, you can't. Knight takes f4, no good, because taking the queen is with check. Okay, so probably not a good idea to snatch that pawn. Okay, so white has 6 pawns, black has 7. White does have a development advantage. Notice how they're playing the same kind of game. Minor differences, of course, but here the white queen and bishop don't have a battery on that diagonal. fc1 to h6. Once again, it's just very similar to the other one, but here black is keeping his long diagonal open. White's not getting rid of it. The pawn advances again. Now I can get to the 7th rank, but it's probably a goner there. I mean on d7. So here white has 2 bishops pointed towards the queen side where there's no real target. Black's knight and king rook are out of play. It's close that white has compensation for the pawn at this point. He's got development. Now there's a mate threat to be dealt with. I guess bishop e5 will do that. Yep, there it is. So who would you rather be here, white or black? Well, objectively, you'd probably want to be black because black's a pawn ahead. Let's see how it goes. Pressure on c5. Now, why doesn't he take the pawn on c5? Is there a reason not to take that pawn? That might give white the better game. Rook takes c5. What am I missing? Black can activate his rook, get on one of those open files. But I guess white's going after another pawn. He's going after the a pawn. Okay, keep the rooks on. Now the mate threat got to be dealt with. Clears the back rank. So essentially we have, now that's probably a mistake. Let's come back here. Let's kind of evaluate this. Take a minute and evaluate this. Both sides have 4 pawns. Both sides can eventually get a pass pawn. So if anyone has winning chances here, it's white. Why? Because white has a bishop and the board is open and it's a long-range piece. So white needs to get a pass pawn on the queen side. Now, see, the thing I don't like about c4 is, number 1, it doesn't set up mobilizing a pass pawn, and number 2, it puts it on the same square as the bishop. What else could he have done? Well, how about king c1 with the idea king d2? Get the king into play. Black can't do anything with a rook check because he can't get over to h1, and then just play it from there. It's a tough game. Okay, so let's move on. I'm not trying to prove white can win. I think that we know the game's a draw, that this is kind of leading more towards a draw because he's not going to be able to make progress. Now the bishop's got a nice square, but most of white's pawns are on the color of his bishop. You know, those pawns are targets. And now this is where the draw was agreed. So let's just back up a few moves. None of this is forced, but let's just try this. Well, I don't have the analysis board. I never brought it up. I just played through the game there. Okay, let's get to the point where he plays c4. Okay, how to play this for a win? Well, first thing that comes to mind, actually, now that I'm looking at it closer, is to pin. Is this pin? Let's make a pin. Why? Because we can. Now, basically, this puts a dilemma on black. Either he's going to have to trade rooks or run the king over to d8 so the rook is free. Or let's see, maybe he can check and get out from under the pin. Let's look at that first. Check, king up. Now we're going to put the knight. Well, why not here? Okay, it was threatened. So, does black have any threats? Well, not necessarily. Well, if white's going to get anywhere, he needs a pass pawn. But black's got some play here. You know, rook e3. This isn't doing it. That looks pretty even. Okay, objectively, white would like to trade rooks and get a bishop versus knight ending. So let's go this route. Let's keep the black rook from becoming too active. If black's going to get anywhere, he needs a pass pawn, so we'll just try that move. Do we want to take it? Why not? Let's just take it. Give him the pass pawn because it's going to come eventually. And now we get ready to get our pass pawn, activate the king. And, you know, this isn't a force line. We're just examining it. White can try for win, but my suspicion is it's a draw. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next one. Just some food for thought for the players. Go back, look at your notes, look at the game, see what you're considering, see if any of that has any merit, and go from there. Okay, let's scroll down and see what else we have. But, you know, those games pretty much ended at the same time. I'm sure they were both happy to have a draw. So the Alban counter gambit holds the draw twice, once with colors reversed. Okay, I've done those games. I don't think I've done these. These must be new ones. Let's see. That one doesn't look familiar. And that one doesn't look familiar. So these must be new. So here we have people, you know, even the last game played too quick. Move 39 in 5 days. Yeah, 7 moves a day. Too fast. Too fast. And let's bring it up. Okay, let's go through. Okay, that's the Marshall defense to the Queen's Gambit. It's objectively not the best. Theory says take on d5, and after knight takes, don't play e4 right away. Play knight f3, and the rest is up to you. But knight f6 is not supposed to be the best move here. Okay, so now we're in a normal Queen's Gambit. He opts for the bishop f4 line, and that's interesting. Push by. Now, this gives black a tailor-made break at the right time of e5, if he can get it in. Okay, how much of this is theory? I don't know. That seems... chases the queen. It might make that pawn weak, though. White can't take it now, but he could pressure it later. I'm going to get rid of it. Undermine b2, or undermine c3. So white needs to react. He does that way. Now e4 is a problem, and there's one problem I can see with black's strategy here. The future of the bishop on c8. It just doesn't look good. Okay, let's move forward. Now there's also pressure on c7, so maybe rook f7 is needed here. Well, I was talking about an e5 break, but black does it now. What's wrong with rook f7? Maybe he doesn't like pawn takes. Or black could play his Zwischenzug. A takes b2. Anyway, let's see what happened. So he gives up the pawn. But I guess what white wants is, or black wants the two bishops. Not sure if this is a position that really favors the two bishops because they don't have any lines. They don't have any mobility. So here he takes, like I was saying. Now there goes one bishop. And now c7 is threatened. So white puts a pawn on the color of his bishop, thus restricting his knight. I mean, restricting his bishop. Why not rook f7? What am I missing? Rook f7 defends the pawn, keeps it on a dark square. You know, c6 just invites it into such a wonderful outpost. We can kick the knight out with bishop d7. Black shouldn't be losing this. But c6 is just bad. Of course, you get some counterplay, but white's ready to meet the challenge. And there goes a pawn that didn't have to go, obviously, but white's getting one back. Or black's getting one back. But who's got the more active pieces here? Well, white does. White's rook's active. And there's that d6 outpost. Now white's got all his pawns on the color of a bishop, and he can't menace the pawn on an e5. White's got all the winning chances here. Now black has the open file, but here comes that pawn. So king f8 may be needed here, or no, he plays defensive there. Now can black survive with rook e7? Okay, we'll find out. Oh, wait a minute. What's stopping? I guess white doesn't, or black doesn't want to take on e6 because he'll lose c6. So here comes the check. And now is the pawn for the taking? Well, he takes it. Now you got to be careful where you put the king. White's having all the fun here once again. That bishop on d5 is nothing more than a tall pawn. That weakens g6, but what else does black do? He's trying to keep it from being a target, wants to move his king over. That weakens f5. Can the king step over and try and drive that? Well, let's see. What's wrong with king f8? How does white make progress? Rook checks, you just go back and forth. And the moment the knight moves, well, you don't necessarily want to trade rooks, with rook e7, because then the white king comes in and white has all the chances. So we'll give g5. Uh-oh, there's the problem with g5. It weakened f4. So clearly, after this, black's losing, and material starts falling. And now white's got a winning game. So let's back up and not play g5. What's the only other move? What can white do? Well, white could always sack on d5. I don't know if he gets enough for it. If the rook goes over to h7, we can always bring the king back. Mm. Or what about attacking the knight? No, there's a check here that might be a nuisance. Okay, so king f8. How does white continue? Bring the knight back to d6. Okay, then put the king back on g8 and have white find something else to do. See, this is the position where we played knight c8, and maybe black can hold a draw. Okay, so much for that one. That's between Damien and Daniel. Nice game. I forgot what board that was, but I'll find it again. It's a 2-0 score for white. Or for the army, I should say. Not for white. Okay, so we haven't looked at this one yet. Okay, Smith-Morra Gambit. That's kind of a passive line. I don't know all the theory here, but white gets some play for his sacrifice pawn, gets some development. Black is playing safe and solid. Now, maybe black can win a pawn with bishop takes f3. That's what he does. Well, it doesn't win a pawn, but it gives white some double pawns. Looks like black is defending well here. And pieces are coming off. Ouch, there's a check. And a desperado. The knight's going to be a goner anyway, so get something for it. And although white's winning, no, he's not winning the knight. The knight's under attack. Wait a minute, no, it's white's move. White should be winning this, right? Check. Oh no, that was the problem. Oh, he can't take the knight because the rook on c1 falls. Okay, so I was mistaken. So check, interpose the knight. Black's just 2 clear pawns up. And white's got, he's still got his development advantage. He's got some activity, but so does black. And white's down 2 pawns and looks like he's losing a piece. Yep, game over. Game, set, match. Good game defending the Smith-Morra. And there's not much point going any further, but I'll show out the remaining moves. Okay, it was board 65. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, board 65 was a board 73. No results. Let's just point the mouse, see how far they got. See, look at that, perfect. 1 move by black, 2 by white. This game will go a while. Another random one, about 5-6 moves each. And then about 6-7 moves, maybe. One more look. That one's gone about 8 to 10 moves. Good. Take your time. Learn the openings. Examine your candidate moves. Get better. Okay, we covered those. I did Awesome Dan in a chess kit, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one where he got queen trapped. Now, I didn't get Markov's other game. We got one of them covered, but not both of them. This was the one that I didn't cover yet. Let me bring it up. And this one's kind of surprising in that I think black has the better game, but I think white resigned prematurely. And we will see Slav defense. And I don't know how much of this is theory, but it sure looks like book to me. So I don't know where the book ends. But, the position definitely seems to be fully equal. Here, taking the knight off to the side of the board just doesn't smell right. Okay, it helps in some respects. It opens up this diagonal for black, a8 to h1. Okay, so now black has some latent threats. Like the threat is knight takes knight, attacking the queen, and when the knight's retaken, there's a mate. So white needs to cover that. So he breaks it. Now it's still a discovered threat. So white blocks the diagonal, and black gains the tempo on the queen. Now I don't think the queen picked the best square here. I think unless there's a tactical problem with going e2. Well, yeah, there is. Rook d2. Yeah. Okay. So white's kind of bottled up here. It all started with knight h2. Pressure on the pawn. Develop a rook. Now, because the d file is closed, white can play this. Now look at this knight on h2. It's acting kind of like a pawn. So white's down a piece on the rest of the board. Now, I'm not too sure about that. And the reason I say is that it creates a weakness on b3. That's the problem. White doesn't have to play a4. What's white trying to do? Well, he's trying to liquidate the pawns. If he can get rid of all the pawns on that side of the board, it's likely a draw. But that's something that's easier said than done. And the weak pawn here is the pawn on a2, but how's black attacking it? The answer is he isn't. Okay? So I think a4 is not correct. Okay, so now some pressure on the queen. Now this seems kind of risky, stepping right into a discovery. And black anchors the knight in. Now white gets this knight back into play. But as soon as black moves here, white resigns. And I think it's premature. Now, if it's black's move, what he wants to play is knight e2 check. And if queen takes knight, you take down here. But white actually had a resource here. It's a kind of surprising one. Rook a1. I think that's the resource. Now, if black tries a discovery, the queen steps away. Where does it go? I think maybe e2. And there's going to be counterplay. You know, this knight has to get out of danger, and you're dropping the pawn back. So this was one of the themes. Rook a1 stops, knight takes a4, which was a threat otherwise. And but for what it's worth, white chose to resign. So I think he could have played on a little bit. With rook a1, you can last longer, and it's still a game of chess. Black objectively is better, but you know, do you want to give up too early? Nobody ever won a game by resigning. That's an old expression. I forgot what board that was, but no worries. I know we have some more results in here. Okay, let's see. I might cut the video off shortly anyway. Let's see. There's a number of results since yesterday's video. We covered these, chess on Mossad. And then, yeah, we covered these. Now Markov's game will show up on board 116. No result here. Here's a result. I think we already covered this one. One of the, yeah, there's the mate. The other one looks interesting. See, black wins here, and here white has a couple knights for a queen. So looks like maybe that one will end up a split. Who knows? They're still playing. No comment. It's in progress. They can figure it out. Yeah, here's one result here, a second forfeit. This Marxistish hadn't logged on since Christmas Day. So unfortunately, you not only lose, you don't get to get your game analyzed, because what am I supposed to do? Analyze the starting position, or analyze after 1d4? Haha. Well, was this so easy? And I think we got Big Fat Daddy's win yesterday. Yeah, we got that one. And let's see, who else is on the line? No results there. Okay, we got 2 wins for the Rats here. These ones have been covered. So I'm gonna stop this video and hold off on, because No Chewy Candy has 2 wins, and one had already come and the other one just followed. I want to put them both on one video, and I don't want this one to go real long. So I will lead off with No Chewy Candy on the next video, probably tomorrow. And thanks so much for taking your time. If you're playing in the match, hope you're enjoying this, and play some good chess. All right? Take care. Thanks.